One thing I will say is that when it comes to making content, comments can be annoying, very annoying, especially if you have haters, trolls, and bots, and the like typing nothing but nonsense in your comment section. However, in the same breath, comments can be enlightening. Topics that you might not know much about can be expounded and spoken about in a manner that is both conducive and educational, if you're willing to accept that. However, in this case, Neko, Nandi, I beg, please stop. You are literally entering into your Majin Vegeta moment, the one where he blows up the arena for seemingly no reason, or simply to just be evil. You have accepted the Majin seal and you're allowing it to drop your mask and reveal your true colors or morph you into a person that you never wanted to be. And maybe you're just doing it to troll because you feel trolled, but I'm telling you, please, don't spiral. For those of you who don't know, to make a long story short, Neko made a video with friends using some online AI program to make funny and silly music for fun, but also for content, because she was inspired by Oni Plays or whatever his name is, because he did the same thing with his friends. And respectively, the fans ate it up, while one in particular wanted to share a message. The message being, with peace and love, using generative AI to create music is just as harmful to artists as using it to create illustrations. And that's where everything went left. You see, Neko, I believe, took this as an attack on her character, where she probably thought the person who was speaking with peace and love was in fact insinuating that her use of the AI program was her intentionally doing harmful things to artists. To which earned this very upset reaction regarding the comment and a rant about AI and how people should feel and react to it from her point of view. Because basically in her point of view, AI is here to stay and AI isn't actually a problem or something along those lines, which I agree with to a tiny extent, but I'll make my own opinions on AI and artists in another video. Anyway, after this, Neko proceeded to spiral into madness because even after making a video venting about her frustrations regarding her intentions making the silly AI music, it pretty much fell upon deaf ears because, unfortunately, there are people who think that if you are not vehemently outright shitting on something that everybody doesn't like, then that must mean you're all for it. Which, to be fair, Neko was painting herself kinda that way during her rant, and so people were respectfully disagreeing. Now, after that, I don't know what was going on. Some people were calling her transphobic, so something transphobic must have popped off in her comments. She called some other YouTuber racist for making a video disagreeing with her rant, etc, 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 and that's that. You're all caught up. The only thing I find funny about this matter is the fact that all of this, simply all of this, could have been avoided if you, Neko, had just made a video acknowledging that the peace and love person technically wasn't wrong. Like, Neko, be real. It's proven that AI is harmful to artists because their work is getting stolen. And bigger than that, they're not getting paid for it. It's already hard enough as an artist to prove yourself, make yourself known, and get paid. But now that you have these corporations funding and building AI and using that AI to steal whatever people create in an underhanded fashion hidden within their terms of service, you now, as an artist, have to prove that your art isn't AI, and you have to sit back and watch people with no artistic talent generating AI art to the point where it's becoming glorified and their shit is getting featured in museums or whatever. And you have to sit back and watch people win Pokemon fan art contests and winning cash money for it, for typing words into a robo program that stole art styles to make said art. Whether this affects you personally was not an accusation, but you took it personally because you misunderstood the intention of the peace and love person's words. And what was once you getting defensive over what was simply a misunderstanding from my point of view has now devolved into you trolling the trolls or whatever the fuck happened to where it's led to this. What the fuck is this? From where I'm standing, Neko was arguing about her intentions versus the person simply stating a fact in regards to using, I would say, most AI. From NECA stance, I mean, I get it. I've been there. I've popped off at people defensively when I felt like I was being unfairly criticized about something, but none of this had to happen, like, at all. And I just want to preface that there is nothing wrong with being wrong. There's nothing wrong with being momentarily ignorant of a fact. And even if you don't agree with what the peace and love person is saying, even though it is a fact, even though it is harming some artists, I just don't see the point in doubling down. It's like saying the sun is hot, but then you're arguing with a person who simply wants to disagree for the sake of disagreeing. Like, no, it's not hot. It's just the heat that's hot. It's like, no, it's... Anyway, Neko, you defended yourself to prove that you weren't the AI bad guy, but in the end, you are turning into a different kind of bad guy. And apparently, you're fine with it because your friends/support system know where you're coming from, so that makes everything okay. But in the grand scheme of things, wouldn't it have made sense to make sure, I don't know, other people know where you're coming from as well? Your friends know you and don't really give a damn about this stuff. Sure, that's why you guys joke about it and whatever. But in terms of online persona and online image, which I guess you would kind of want to care about because you've gotten popular or whatever the case may be, wouldn't it have been better to communicate that you know AI is bad and it wasn't your intention to use anything that steals from artists, or in fact educate that whichever AI program you did use didn't steal from artists, considering there are some, in fact, that do exist that don't steal from artists? Like, I don't know what popped off to where the mention of transphobia and racism had to be a part of the conversation, especially since at its core, the beginning of the conversation definitely wasn't about any of that. But from what I'm gathering from this recent animatic that you just dropped, someone was misgendered. You called someone racist because they must have told you to quit having opinions and just make shit and work. Hence the mention and correlation of you being a slave to your audience and thereby making that person racist, and now we're in this whole circus situation of a mess. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, like, this shit is getting silly. Like, none of this would have popped off at all if you would have just ignored the peace and love comment and went about your day, or just acknowledged that they weren't wrong and your intentions weren't malicious. But apparently this is now your canon event, and now you're out here swinging against the masses to defend what you said and troll, which, I mean, you're gonna do your own thing, but for shit to end up snowballing into this, you have got to agree it's kind of ridiculous. Also, I just want to add, the use of AI animation right here is kind of funny, but like in a trolling kind of way. Like, this actually got a laugh out of me because it's obvious you want to piss off the people who are obviously pissed off. But come on. This person on Twitter said it best. Like, just when you started to get motion, you fumbled the fucking bag. Like, what the fuck? What is happening? Why? But that's what I think. Tell me what you guys think. This shit is crazy. Like, obviously, online drama is going to happen no matter what, but the way this is just becoming a thing, and it's like now you're going to stand 10 toes down on something that, honestly, at this point, I mean, it's fine if it doesn't affect you, but it does affect some other people, which you can't deny. It's just like, what's the point? Like, why?